We're going to dig into some Carolina football here with our next guest joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. Good friend of the program, personality, editor-writer for Inside Carolina, part of the On3 Network, Tommy Ashley. Good morning, Tommy.
Good morning, Paul. How are y'all?
We're good. Probably not as excited as you. I'm sure you got all your Shaquille O'Neal T-shirts on. Excited that DJ Diesel's going to be playing at the Chapel Thrill pregame football festivities. Are the lineup of performers this year, Tommy, an upgrade from last year, or is it about the same?
It's about the same. I mean, it's a good variety, and I'm old, so 38 special is pretty cool for NC State, but I'll have to bring out my tour shirt from '92 or something for that one. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting mix. But Shaq at 10 a.m. on the Wilson Library steps is pretty hilarious.
Well, he'll be unavoidable, that's for sure. Maybe he'll bring some pizza. All right, let's dial back in here. So yeah, we get the news yesterday that Steve Belichick will be out indefinitely due to medical leave. I believe the safest play for me, even though Bill says the defensive staff would work together to fill his spot, I think the safest play, honestly, is to let Bobby Petrino run the offense as planned and for Bill to take over defensive play calling.
That's an interesting take, and it's certainly been discussed on our message boards and the like. Belichick hasn't been the defensive coordinator for years, but we know that's his area of expertise, so that would make sense. But he's pretty adamant that it'd be a shared responsibility. But when you don't have your DC for fall camp, I mean, you hate it, but it always seems like it's something for Carolina football over the last few years. But hopefully he can get back and they can get some sort of rhythm, because I think not only do players have to have rhythm and cohesion and all that stuff, I think the coaching staff does as well. So definitely not a great thing for Carolina going in, but certainly Belichick's mind should be able to handle it.
Certainly, yeah, one hurdle. So who does he trust then as kind of the one voice? We can't have everybody yelling at the linebacker for play calls or the safety or whoever the defensive captain happens to be that game.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe Diaco. He's who I would pick, defensive line coach, and he's been working across the board there. So maybe him. But yeah, you're right. You can't have multiple guys going crazy. And but we'll see. We're still 3 weeks out from Ireland, so maybe they can get it figured out and come up with a plan to, as you say, have one loud voice in the headset.
Tommy Ashley joining us from Inside Carolina here on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. Paul Ihander and Max Goren with you this morning. So as Carolina navigates another hurdle in their preseason and gets things together, what's the word that you're getting out of on camp on who might be ahead? Is it the offense or is it the defense at this point, considering how many transfers had to come in out of the portal to kind of replenish the ranks?
Yeah, I think it's day to day. We hear good things about the offense doing some stuff, and then the next day, as always with fall camp. But it's always the question, right? Is our offense? If you're a coach, is our offense really good, or is our defense really good, or vice versa, or bad, or all that? So I think for Carolina, the consistency at quarterback needs to get better. We've heard about a fair amount of inaccuracy from the quarterbacks, and we saw that yesterday when they let us get in practice. And they're, the defensive line's got some interesting depth chart questions there. But if I had to bet, I would bet the defensive line and the defense is ahead, at least in the front, in the trenches on the offense. But, it's always good to have Bobby Petrino coordinating your offense, and I think that's going to make a huge difference for Carolina.
Yeah, I was just going to say, as you go into kind of another offense, what kind of different tweaks or twists are you seeing between a Freddie Kitchens offense and a Bobby Petrino kind of installing his system within the Heels?
Well, I think the main thing with Petrino is he's going to do a system that his quarterback can do. I felt like last year watching Carolina and we said this from day one when we were out there in fall camp, is they had Gio Lopez under center a lot. And all of us looked at each other and were like, yeah, that's not what he does. And it sort of played out on the field. I think with Petrino, just on a surface level, he's going to run an offense that the talent he has can support that or can accomplish that. And I think that's a big deal in college, especially You want guys to do what they can do, and if they can't do it, then don't do it. And Petrino's talked about that. My question will be, which quarterback does he trust the most to accomplish what he wants to do? And again, they have a plan, or appear to have a plan, and last year I'm not sure they did.
That has to be important in terms of this team 7 days into training camp. Tommy Ashley inside Carolina joining us here next up here on 99.9 The Fan. Hey, Tommy, always great to check in with you, friend. I know a little bit brief today, but just wanted to get a little touchstone and see and get the thoughts on what's trending within Tar Heel Nation.
Yeah, 100%. Anytime, give me a call. It's always fun to talk Carolina football.
Absolutely. Getting ready 3 weeks away. Tommy Ashley inside Carolina here on Next Up. CBS Sports and Chip Patterson earlier this year put out a long list of where college football coaches rank. And this is a nationwide list. It included everybody to start, and now they've broken it down by conference. And atop the ACC, and again, a lot of it has to do with just kind of what we think. And let's be honest, when we talk about we say media, and those of us who talk about college football, NFL, and whatever it is, a lot of that opinion can be formed by us. So what is reflected of what you think about these coaches usually trickles through us, and then we end up voting and we put these things out there. And so we look at where a lot of these coaches are ranked, and when you think about the ACC, there are always going to be top guys across the board, and there should be no surprise that the top three, and again, this is reputation. We talked yesterday about reputation ranking when it came to Clemson and then Miami, several decades ago. Top two guys on this list are Mario Cristobal in Miami, who is ranked number 7 nationally, but last year was ranked 3rd in the ACC, and he is, again, a benefit of talent and a benefit of competing for championships. And he is one of those guys that motivates men. Like, I don't dislike Mario Cristobal for how he coaches. He motivates men, and there are results for that. Number 2 on the list is Dabo Swinney. Dabo at Clemson. Is it about track record, or now are we talking about recent, just what they've put on the field lately? And for the longest time within the ACC, even with all the turnover that we've seen in the past several years, he was kind of the clear number 1 dude. Like, there was never any question. When you thought about powers, you were thinking about, all right, Clemson, you're thinking about Florida State. Maybe you could sneak a couple of other teams in that conversation. And then we get, expansion. And you look at the names that are on this list, and I want to get down to the triangle names specifically. And the one at the bottom should not surprise you unless you are the biggest fan and you have the most bias. The bottom 2 in this ACC list, Tavita Pritchard of Stanford, who was not a coach in the ACC last year, who was the offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach for the Washington Commanders, and Tosh Lupoi, who was the defensive coordinator at Oregon, and again is a first year at Cal. That's number 17 and 16. Number 15 on this list is Bill Belichick, who was actually higher because of reputation last year in terms of the ACC. So now you understand the challenges that he's going to face, and that he isn't, which is strange, is not allowed reputation ranking. And this goes back to the argument about why he was here and how he is here, and reinforces the thing that he's never coached college before. He's never been a university coach before. And it goes against those who said, coaching football is football. It's still the same. Clearly, it is a different battle at the collegiate level than it is at the professional level. And so are you able to buy more stock in Bill Belichick than ever before? And if you take the money aside, and I remember looking at this not too long ago when it came to football coaches who were let go after just 2 seasons, right? After just 2 seasons. In a lot of cases, it happens to be like guys that are voluntarily taking other jobs or guys that were terminated with cause. And you go back and you go, if you were a bad coach, you could be let go. Very rarely does it happen after 1 season. But after 2 seasons, we have recent examples. Jonathan Smith at Michigan State, who went from Oregon State to Michigan State, finished 9-15 after just 2 seasons at Michigan State. And what does it tell you about how they feel about winning and championships at a Big Ten school? 9-15. Remember, Bill's record last year at Carolina was 4-8. If the same standard would be applied at Carolina as there is at Michigan State, regardless of money, take that money out aside, you'll always find more money. Bill Belichick needs 6 wins this season. He would need 6. And I'm not even looking at Nevada and Ken Wilson. And I follow Nevada because I worked out west for a while, and I know Mountain West, I know Pac-12 pretty well. Ken Wilson in Nevada was probably one of the worst hires they could have ever made at Nevada when Jay Norvell left to go to Colorado State. And Jay Norvell, by the way, is also out of a job. Norvell should have stayed at Nevada. He had a good thing going there. He had goodwill. People would buy him drinks. They hired an alum at Nevada, and he went back-to-back 2-10 after 2 seasons. And his buyout was like $1 million. That was nothing compared to a buyout of Bill Belichick. I'm not saying to buy out Bill Belichick after year 2. What I'm saying is you cannot coast on your laurels anymore in this new age of college football, where you are last year coming in a little bit on reputation, ranked number 12, and now you have slid down to 15 in the ACC. Jake Dickert is criminally underrated at number 12 on this list. Criminally underrated. He had an amazing first year at Wake, but he finds himself behind against reputational ranking of Mike Norvell at Florida State, Pat Narduzzi at Pitt. It's been a while since Pitt's done much. We like Pat Narduzzi as a coach. He's a great quote machine, but can he put them over the top? Dave Doran's at number 8. Last year he was at number 7. Just a guy that just keeps churning, keeps burning, puts together 8-win, 9-win seasons. He needs a conference title game, and he needs a 10-win season. That's what gives him the push. Manny Diaz is ranked ahead of Dave Doran. It's interesting because he has put himself in a position to do great things. And if he can do it again with another quarterback change in another year where he had to replenish his transfer portal ranks through non-traditional means, by the way. The academic standards are much different. This is why Cooper Barkate last year, coming out of the Ivy League, was such a big deal. He's pulled another receiver out of the Ivy League. Like, he has to do it with those guys who are underrated in most cases, or when you're the top guy in the Ivy League, what does that tell you? And so for a third year for Manny Diaz at Duke, like, his star only keeps climbing. It's why Nita King at Duke, the athletic director, has to keep putting new numbers in front of Manny Diaz. You don't want him to go anywhere. You want to make sure that he doesn't have to think twice about resources, unlike a Jake Dickert at Wake Forest, who literally told our guys at ACC football kickoff, like, yeah, we don't compete in some cases because we don't have the facilities. Our budget isn't that big. We need people to step up for football and not just for Olympic sports, which is what schools like that do really well. Manny Diaz has that opportunity at Duke. Like, he's the one guy on this entire list that stands to gain by another, like, and can instantly gain by having another successful season in just a third season with the Duke Blue Devils. So no one should be surprised that Bill Belichick has slid. Reputation means something in terms of being able to get speaking gigs. It means something when you are endorsing product. There's no doubt about it. But in college football, it's still wins and losses.
I'm Max Goren with 3 things you need to know right now from 99.9 The Fan. The Carolina Panthers kicked off the NFL preseason with a thrilling victory in the Hall of Fame game last night, defeating the Arizona Cardinals 33-30. Rookie quarterback Haynes King scrambled into the end zone from the 5-yard line as time expired for the game-winning touchdown. There's a new highest-paid running back in NFL history. The Detroit Lions agreed to a contract extension with Jahmyr Gibbs yesterday, worth up to $75.75 million over 3 years, narrowly surpassing the extension signed earlier this week by Bijan Robinson. Gibbs has made the Pro Bowl in each of his first 3 NFL seasons. The Durham Bulls continue their series on the road tonight against their in-state rivals, the Charlotte Knights. Bulls coverage can be found on 620 AM Buzz Sports Radio, 99.9 FM HD2, and WRAL News Plus, with first pitch scheduled for 7:04 p.m. For all the latest news on your favorite teams, download the 99.9 The Fan app or visit 999thefan.com.
With the time we have remaining, I need to remind you of something this weekend. Beyond the high school OT Jamboree at First Horizon Stadium at WakeMed Soccer Park in Cary tomorrow. Tickets available, highschoolot.com. That's Max, I'm Paul. This is the 10th anniversary of the fictional ESPN8 channel, The Ocho. If you remember it, it made its debut during the Ben Stiller movie Dodgeball, a true underdog story, and has now turned into kind of one of this kind of weird programming events around this time of year. And so they've brought a bunch of new sports forward, and they've got some of the old favorites, right? Like Slippery Stairs, right? Slippery Stairs is still a thing. And by the way, they do a lot of those outdoor events in Rock Hill, South Carolina. I don't know why Rock Hill, South Carolina has become the home of the Ocho, but that is the spot.
All sorts of random. You mentioned Slippery Stairs. There'll be, random cornhole, Omega Ball, stuff like that. And it does always seem to be in Rock Hill, South Carolina. For what reason, I'm not sure. But they've made themselves the capital of niche and unusual sporting events.
Yeah, frisbee, ultimate frisbee,
Pop darts.
Football. Yeah, pop darts is wild because it's indoors and a lot of people do it. They show up in a bunch of interesting like social media plays for sports teams. This is the one I thought you would be interested in, Max, and you haven't seen this, and you should just search it out because they had their first kind of championship game back in March in Texas, of all places. It's called the Two Goalies All Goalie Game. And so basically it's goalies in full gear playing hockey. And it's just this is what I've always advocated that all-star games should be when it came to like the NBA. The NBA should have 7-footers shooting three-pointers. And in football, it should be like linemen making passes when it comes to the Pro Bowl. The all goalie game. It's just dudes in full goalie gear. Hockey. Like full hockey. They're doing Quidditch this year, which, again, I watched some kids play this in Boston Common about a decade ago. I was like, what's going on? And this one guy's like, dude, they're playing Quidditch. I'm like, really? They've got T-Rex races, so the people that have inflatable T-Rexes. The Corgi races are around this year. They've got pumpkin tossing, laser tag, and, the Savannah Bananas are part of it, but they're so mainstream now that I think the Savannah Bananas are barely Ocho at this point. Like, barely Ocho.
Why are they on ESPN?
They're on, like, CW.
Why are they on TV?
They're on it's exhibition baseball.
You don't see the Globetrotters on TV.
They used to be.
But they aren't now.
They are not
because
now.
I am assuming nobody watched them.
They are not now.
And I don't think anyone's watching the Savannah Bananas, and yet half the time when I'm scrolling through channels, it's just this time of year. Once like football and
right, no, I get that.
And hockey and basketball are back, like it's not going to be relevant anymore. But it's just annoying. Like it upsets me like seeing it on the TV. Like if they want to put it on the Ocho, sure, it shouldn't be on. Don't put it on ESPN. I don't want to be sitting in a restaurant with my family and look up to a TV and see Banana Ball. I don't want to see that.
You don't understand it half the time. Like, you have to explain the rules.
I actually know the rules because I've been forced to see it so many times on TV. And look, I've never been. I would be open to going.
I've seen it. It's great live.
Especially since like all the concessions are like included in your ticket and stuff like that. Like it seems like a good fan experience to go. I don't want to watch it on TV. I'm sorry. I just don't want to.
Across all the ESPN networks, lots of things. They've got World Juggling Federation Championships. There's a jump rope thing, which is pretty insane. And they're doing live events at Disney World as part of this 10th anniversary. So all these adult kickball.
They should like race.
Wiffle ball is a thing now.
Like race through, like running through the park, like running through Disney World. That'd be interesting.
I've done that, but not like, to like run through to catch
like
rides.
Who can ride all the rides the fastest.
I've seen that happen before. I've done the 4-park thing in one day, by the way. I've done that. That's a thing. Back when I had a pass and lived in Orlando, Florida. So enjoy your slippery stairs, everybody, and try not to get too ill with the bananas.